I have high self-esteem, y'all. I mean, you ain't got to agree with this. I just got high self-esteem. I ain't always been like this. It took me a while to get this kind of self-esteem because I ain't always had this kind of self-esteem. But now that I have it, I say it. Shoot, I ain't always looked this good. You know what I'm saying? I got a sharp swagger now, boy. My wife will tell you. She saw me in her daddy's office first time we met. She said, "Woo." She was like, "That's what I'm looking for." Man, I'm so silly. One thing my wife said about me that I appreciated, I didn't know this until much later. She said what was the thing that touched her most was that she felt I helped her be a better person. That's good because now she's looking at my character. You follow me? All of us got to look at the characteristics of the person we're with. And that's really what this passage is doing. It's saying, look at the character of this woman. And God says, I'm not even going to mention her physicality. All right? Now watch this. Look at verse 1 again. Look at verse 1. I want you to understand the source of this proverb. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Okay. His mother is the source of this proverb. This is a mother telling her son what to look for. Danielle, how you doing, girl? Southwestern buddy, sorry about that. Good to see you. All right. I'm back. I got to talk to you later, girl. I heard you got married. Is that true? That's your husband right there? Man, how you doing? That's old school buddy. I wish more mothers would teach their children, their sons, what to look for in a woman. You can't raise your children, and mothers, particularly your son, and not teach him the characteristics to look for in a woman, because here is a woman's perspective from a divine source, of course, of what you need to be paying attention to when you see a female. Because if you allow him to grow up without giving him some guidance, and you leave the world to educate him on what a woman is and is not, what ultimately happens is he is going to fall astray or fall prey to the culture's concept of a woman and not the godly view of a woman. Here's a mother telling her son, here's what you look for. Are y'all following what I'm saying? And we have to start making it part of the education of our children what to look for in a spouse. You got to start this mother, and I thank God for good mothers who take the time to say, and my mother knew when a woman wasn't worth nothing and would tell me, no, no, son, that's not going to work. But I love her. It'll pass. That ain't going to work like that. My mother is bluntly honest. She does not have your best interest in mind. And my mother had measuring rods on, this is not a godly measuring rod, but this is how she did it. My mother said, now here she comes in. She says, now if she makes your father something to eat, that's going to tell me something about this woman. And she said, that's going to tell me about her character in regards to how she relates to your daddy. I said, really? I said, well, I don't see, I understand that. She said, let me watch how she treats your father. Let's see what she does. Let's see if she offers to make him something or something like that. And so enough, some women just come in, they never did all that. But the woman that treated me the best was the one that made my daddy a sandwich sometime, a meal, or she was always caring about, how my dad was. And my mother, that was her measuring rod. She said, now that's a woman, because she see how she treating your daddy? She said, this might be how she going to treat you. She said, now you see how she'll come in, and once she got used to the house, she'll come in and she'll say, your dad, hey, you hungry, Pop? And she would talk to me. He said, yeah, and she get to the stove, and she says, there you go. See that right there? See that right there? Now, a woman come in and she sit down and all she's talking about, where we going to eat at? Mothers understand some things, and mothers take time to teach your son about some characteristics that he need to look for according to God's blueprint. Watch this woman. This is what Solomon says. And I didn't do this morning, but let me give you these points so you understand how we're going to categorize it. We're going to look at her worth. Then we're going to look at her work. Then we're going to look at her worship. And then we're going to look at her wisdom. And lastly, if we have time, we'll look at her witnesses. Okay? Now that's kind of the flow of what I want to do today. I want to look at first her worth, then her work. I'm going to spend most of my time there. All right? Her worth. Of who can find a virtuous woman? The fact that he poses that question, it's rhetorical. What he's really saying is, it's hard to find. Now, of course, West End is full of virtuous women. And if you are a husband in here, just go on and say amen if you got a virtuous wife. Now, see, y'all messed up. I can tell right there. You see, what I did was give you an opportunity to get some real solid points. And what you're supposed to do is stand up, clap your hands. Now, this morning, of course, Fred stood up, so I know today's going to be a good day for Fred Hall. Yeah, it's going to be a good day for Fred Hall. And some of you, when I asked that question, just like this morning, I said, now, go on and say amen if you got a virtuous wife. Watch. See what you going to say. Her value is above rubies. A ruby was a dark red jewel that was precious, valuable, and hard to find. He said, a virtuous woman, an excellent woman, and in this context, an excellent wife, is hard to find. And she is not equivalent to rubies. She is above. If you could measure the value of a ruby, he said a virtuous woman is far beyond the value of a ruby. She's hard to find. And when you find a wife that'll stick by you, you ought to be willing to appreciate her, because he said, who can find? If you got one, you better be happy. Because it's hard to find an excellent wife. Are y'all with me? Which means she is a model for women to strive for, and she is a model for what you should look for. Are y'all following what I'm saying? All right, let's go a little further. That's her value. That's her worth. Her worth is she's far above rubies. Y'all see that? Watch 11. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no lack of gain. The husband can completely trust her, meaning he has absolute confidence in her ability, in this context, to manage the house. And the book says she brings him no evil only good. She has his best interest in mind. Are y'all following this? What you're seeing in these verses is the essence of a helpmeet.